also. I am very thankful that we do have a good plan, and the surge and the counterinsurgency strategy that has proven to work. I am thankful that that is part of the plan, pushed hard by another great American, Senator John McCain. We do have a plan for withdrawal. We don't need early withdrawal. We cannot afford to lose there. We cannot afford to lose there, or we're going to be no better off in the war in Afghanistan either. Or we're going to be no better off in the war in Afghanistan either. Or we're going to be no better off in the war in Afghanistan either. Or we're going to be no better off in the war in Afghanistan either. And with the surge that has worked, we're now down to pre-surge numbers. That's where we can be. We can start putting more troops in Afghanistan as we also work with our NATO allies who are there strengthening us. And we need to grow our militaries. And we need to grow our militaries. And we need to grow our military. We cannot afford to lose against Al-Qaeda and the Shia extremists who are still there, still fighting us. But we're getting closer and closer to victory. Your plan is a white flag of surrender. If the surge works, we'll know when we're finished in Iraq, when the Iraqi government can govern its people, and when the Iraqi security forces can secure its people. And our commanders on the ground will tell us when those conditions have been met. And Maliki and the Talibani also in working with us. And Maliki and the Talibani also in working with us are knowing again that we're getting closer and closer to that point, that victory that's within sight. Mo was not ready to be commander-in-chief. The central war on terror is in Iraq. You don't have to believe me or John McCain on that. I would believe Petraeus and that leader of Al-Qaeda. The central war on terror is in Iraq. You don't have to believe me or John McCain on that. I would believe Petraeus and that leader of Al-Qaeda. They cannot be allowed to acquire nuclear weapons, period. Israel is a stinking corpse, a country that should be wiped off the face of the earth. An issue like that taken up by a presidential candidate goes beyond naivete and goes beyond poor judgment. A statement that he made like that is downright dangerous, because leaders like Ahmadinejad, who would seek to acquire nuclear weapons and wipe off the face of the earth, an ally like we have in Israel, should not be met without preconditions and diplomatic efforts being undertaken first. Governor, no, and Dr. Henry Kissinger especially, and I had a good conversation with him recently, and he shared with me also his passion for these dictators just sitting down on a presidential level. As first and foremost, that is what we would engage in. Hard work by serious people. It's lining out clear objectives and having your friends and your allies ready to back you up there, ready to back you up there, ready to back you up there, and have sanctions lined up also before any kind of presidential summit would take place.
Senator. With all due respect, I didn't hear a plan.
A two-state solution is the solution, and Secretary Rice, having recently met with leaders on one side or the other there, also still in these waning days of the Bush administration, trying to forge that peace, and that needs to be done, and that will be top of an agenda item also under a McCain-Pallin administration. Israel is our strongest and best ally in the Middle East. We have got to assure them that we will never allow a second Holocaust, despite, again, warnings from Iran and any other country that would seek to destroy Israel, that is what they would like to see. We will support Israel. A two-state solution, building our embassy also in Jerusalem. A two-state solution, building our embassy also in Jerusalem. Those things that we look forward to being able to accomplish with this peace-seeking nation. And they have a track record of being able to forge these peace agreements. In fact, when we talk about the Bush administration, there's a time too when Americans are going to say, enough is enough with your ticket, on constantly looking backwards and pointing fingers and doing the blame game. There have been huge blunders in the war. There have been huge blunders throughout this administration. Positive change is coming, though. Reform of government is coming. We'll learn from the past mistakes in this administration and other administrations, and we're going to forge ahead with putting government back on the side of the people and making sure that our country comes first. That's what John McCain has been known for in all these years. He has been the maverick. He has ruffled feathers.
Or put into play.
Nuclear weaponry, of course, would be the be-all, end-all of just too many people or too many parts of the planet. planet, so those dangerous regimes, again, cannot be allowed to acquire nuclear weapons, period. Our nuclear weaponry here in the U.S. is used as a deterrent, and that's a safe, stable way to use nuclear weaponry, period. Our nuclear weaponry here in the U.S. is used as a deterrent, and that's a safe, stable way to use nuclear weaponry, period. Our nuclear weaponry here in the U.S. is used as a deterrent, and that's a safe, stable way to use nuclear weaponry. Nuclear weaponry, of course, would be the be-all, end-all of just nuclear weaponry. But for those countries, North Korea also under Kim Jong-il, we have got to make sure that we're putting the economic sanctions on these countries, and the reason that we have friends and allies supporting us in this to make sure that leaders like Kim Jong-il and Ahmadinejad are not allowed to acquire, to proliferate, use those nuclear weapons. That the Bush administration's policy on Afghanistan perhaps would be the same as use those nuclear weapons. The surge principles, not the exact strategy, but the surge principles that have worked need to be implemented in Afghanistan also, and that perhaps would be a difference with the Bush administration. All we're doing in Afghanistan is air-raiding villages and killing civilians. And such a reckless comment, an untrue comment, again, hurts our cause. We're fighting terrorists and we're securing democracy, and we're building schools for children there so that there is opportunity in that country also. There will be a big difference there, and we will win in Afghanistan also. We'll win in Afghanistan also.
You may talk about nuclear use if you like, and also about...
Well, first, the surge principles would not work in Afghanistan, certainly accounting for different conditions in that different country, and conditions are certainly different. And even the geographic differences are huge. Clearing, holding, rebuilding, and those leaders who are over there, who have also been advising George Bush on this, have not said anything different but that.
Senator, Governor.
Oh man, it's so obvious that I'm a Washington outsider and someone just not used to the way you guys operate.
Senator, Governor.
Oh man, it's so obvious that I'm a Washington outsider and someone just not used to the way you guys operate. I was for it before I was against it, or vice versa. Americans are craving that straight talk and just want to know, hey, if you voted for it, tell us why you voted for it. And it was a war resolution. And I watched those debates, and so I remember what those were all about. But as for Darfur, we can agree on that also. The support of the no-fly zone, making sure that all options are on the table there also. America is in a position to help. What I've done in my position in Sudan, we called for divestment through legislation of those dollars to make sure we weren't doing anything that would be seen as condoning the activities there in Darfur. That legislation hasn't passed yet, but it needs to, because all of us as individuals and as humanitarians and as elected officials should do all that we can to end those atrocities in that region of the world. I beg to disagree with you again here on whether you supported Barack Obama or John McCain's strategies. Here again, you can say what you want to say a month out before people are asked to vote on this, but we listen to the debates. I think tomorrow morning, the pundits are going to start doing the who said what at what time, and we'll have proof of some of this. But again, John McCain, who knows how to win a war, that's what evil is. They've taken the politics out of these war issues. He'll know how to win a war.
Thank you, Governor.
They've taken the politics out of these war issues. He'll know how to win a war.
Thank you, Governor.
Look, past this prologue, Brent, the issue is how different is John McCain's policy going to be than George Bush's? I haven't heard anything yet.
Your plan is a white flag of surrender in Iraq. And that is not what our troops will know when we're finished in Iraq, when the Iraqi government can govern its people, and when the Iraqi security forces can secure its people, and our commanders on the ground be undertaken first.